our videos. And it's interesting because now YouTube has one thing called podcasts. So you might find it at the podcast part. All right, so welcome everyone. Good morning. I hope it's really sunny inside of your heart, wherever you are. As Dave was saying, here in California, we are missing the sun for at least 15 days. So we are hoping that God will grace us with a little bit of sun sooner than later. But for those who are watching us or here for the very first time, we are a non-denominational Spiritist center. And here we respect all religions, all spiritual traditions. So everybody's welcome to bring your thoughts, your questions. We are in a safe environment for us to share and learn all together. And before we start the announcements, we always begin our service with a prayer. So I would like to ask our dear brother Brian to come up and give the opening prayer. For those who are not speaking, please make sure your microphones are muted.
Good morning, everyone. Let's center ourselves to the energy of the circles. Thank you, God, for once again this opportunity to come together, to hold hands together, to embrace each other, not physically, not just mentally, but spiritually, trifecta. On this plane and on the spiritual plane, with all our sisters and brothers, our mentors, guides, healers, doctors, administrators, nurses, the Zerha Spiritual Healing Center. We are all here together to learn together, to teach together, to love together. May we open our hearts and our mind and our soul to everyone around us, to everything that is, to everything that will be said, to understand the sincerity, deepest gratitude. With that, let's begin this wonderful celebration today. Amen.
And so be it. Thank you, brother. So BSH is a member of the United States Spiritist Federation, and our spiritual beliefs are based around scientific, philosophical, and religious principles of Spiritism. So we are always studying all the books that were codified by Allan Kardec. And Emmanuel, as the spirit mentor of Chico Xavier, taught us, knowledge and love are the wings for our spiritual evolution. And that's the reason why the service is divided into two parts. The first, we always have someone speaking and sharing findings from remarkable and qualified mediums and spirits. During this time, it's really important that you actively listen, that you participate, since your mentor is already supporting you and your needs while you're hearing the insights from the speaker. Carrying and working these reflections along the week is what will really sustain the energy that you are receiving here at the center. So we highly encourage you to take some notes, grab a piece of paper so that you can write down the things that come up to your mind. And then on the second part, it's a hands-on healing pass where your mentor will be working with BSH mediums and benefactors of the good for you to receive the healing energy that you receive. So now I'm going to share with you all the opportunities that we have for us to study together. We have a bunch of book studies and some other services as well. So here is the pshcenter.org/events, and you should be able to find everything that you need for us to be together. So always the same Zoom link. On Sundays, we have the service as we are here with educational presentation and healing passes. We also have daily prayers. So every day at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we get together and we pray for ourselves and for those who are in need. So do welcome, we do come and we welcome everyone. It takes usually 15-20 minutes for us to be together. We also offer fraternal counseling, and this one is, of course, by appointment only. It's individual. Anyone, like if you need to vent, if you need to just ask questions or pray together, we are here with you and for you. So do take advantage of that. Usually it's on Wednesdays from 4 to 7 p.m. But if you need any other time, do let us know and we'll be happy to assign someone to talk to you. And then we have all the book study groups. All studies begin after the daily prayer at 6:30, and usually it takes 1 hour and a half. On Sundays, we are reading the book Missionaries of the Light. It was written by, André Luiz via Chico Xavier. On Tuesdays, we are studying the book The Consoler, via Chico Xavier too, but written by Emmanuel. And this one is done in collaboration with the Divine Light Spiritist group, led by Sunshine Beck, a dear friend of ours. She leads this study group. On Wednesday, we just finished Heaven and Hell. So stay tuned for what's coming. Probably next year, we are going to have something replacing this study. So stay tuned for news on here. And on Thursdays, we are reading the book Living Spring by Emmanuel via Chico Xavier as well. We also have mediumship services on Mondays, but this one starts with an educational part, the first hour, but this one is by invitation only. So even if you are interested, we will guide you until you're ready for this study. So this is by invitation only. And then the second part, this one is closed for those who are working for the BSH mediums. And here we work on healing services for spiritual or physical needs. So if you or anyone you love is in need, do let us know. We have a treatment book, and this person will be in treatment for at least 4 weeks. What we always do is we encourage the person who is in treatment to stay tuned with their mentors during this time, so then they can be open to receive the healing energy that they are in need. So read the gospel, meditate, pray, rest. And I will stop sharing so then I can let you all know who will be speaking to us today. Our dear brother dear brother Charles Avelar will talk to us about a chapter called Law of Equality. It's a chapter from the Spirit's book, and I'm sure that he will give us all the context about it. For those who don't know him, Charles is a student of Spiritism and its doctrines as postulated by Allan Kardec. Also, he's interested in understanding the contributions of innumerable divine messengers that, under the authority of our planetary governor, throughout our human history, have brought to our attention hints and clues into the universal gospel. Resident of California since 1986, collaborator of the Eurípides Barçanufo Spiritist Center in Los Angeles, Blossom Spiritist Society of Los Angeles, Centro Espírita Sin Fronteiras, Spain, and worker at Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center, which we are very grateful for. Currently based in Denver, Colorado. Are you saying Denver? And member of Denver Spiritist Group. So please help me to give him a warm welcome. And brother, please take it away.
Thank you, Kiki. Good morning, everyone. Just an update on my bio is that I'm in Los Angeles now. Yeah. Okay. I will review it. I promise. But anyways, it's a beautiful day here, and I want to start this presentation with an acknowledgement that we understand that even though we have our faces look marvelous, I have a beautiful picture behind me, but everything, we know that everybody is going through a lot at this moment in time. So every family, nobody is exempt of going through challenges and in different ways. And of course, it applies to every single one, and those that are connected with us, because we are at the moment, critical moment at our planet, which is a transition. And it's, as a transition, it has its positive and negative at the same time until we get to that normalcy. But anyways, I also would like to clarify, last week, Teresa had her presentation that she left us with a question about the reality of the death penalty in Brazil. I did a little research and I understand that in Brazil, death penalty is not allowed by law. However, in circumstances like a war times, they have an opening. But that was created back in 1800s. So since 1880, there's no such a thing as a death penalty in Brazil, and we hope that the death continues to go because that's not allowed. But anyways, it's just a clarification because I left with that question last week, and that's my answer. So today, we're talking about the gospel. And what is the gospel, or the gospel that Jesus brought to us? In our understanding that Spiritism clarifies, the gospel is the divine law, is the universal law that applies to every single corner in the universe. So it's not just a privilege of the planet Earth, but it applies everywhere. So I want to make sure that we have that understanding that the laws that Jesus brought to us is really an acknowledgement of the whole universe follows, or at least we try to follow. We have more advanced worlds, less advanced worlds, and we are planet Earth. We are closer to the bottom line of that process. But anyways, we are here and we're making an effort to reach out our goal, which is the divinity. Okay, so I'll be reminding us that Spiritism doctrine was brought to us by a group of entities, spiritual entities led by Jesus Christ, and it was captured. And the basic books of the doctrine of spirits is on the screen. And today we're going to be talking about the Spirits book. So the Spirits book is divided by 4 books or 4 chapters, or whatever you want to call parts. The first part is about, talks about the causes of everything. The second part talks about the spirit world, the world of the spirits. The third part talks about the moral laws, which is the purpose of us to continue this process. We are dealing with physical evolution, but also spiritual evolution. And to measure spiritual evolution, we are talking about moral evolution, moral development. We're talking about moral laws. And the last chapter or book of the Spirits book talks about hopes and consolations, which is a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come and what's out there. But today, we will be talking about the universal law, the moral laws. And we have a series of laws that is very important that we really, it's a small chapter. It's not like maybe 3 or 4 pages, but it has a lot of content. So we talk about the law, and recently Teresa brought us the law of destruction. We discussed that, which is a very enlightening session. And if you guys have the video, watch that presentation again. It's very educational, very comprehensive way to see the law of destruction. But today we're going to be talking about the law of equality. The law of equality. What is it? What does equality? Oh, by the way, I would appreciate that throughout this presentation, I'm going to ask you to mute your mic and come in and let's have a conversation, okay? Because that's how we learn about having this dialogue, this discussion. So what is it that we understand as the law of equality? And this universal law is present in the whole universe. So what is the information that the spirits brought to us about equality? On that chapter, it starts discussing in question 803 of the Spirit's book. All men equal in the sight of God. So, of course, the answer already put in there, but with your own self, just think about that. What is man? Was he created equal? How equal is it? What are we talking about? Yes, all tend towards the same goal. So basically, we're talking about a moment of beginning of the creation, and we are created that moment, and with the aim to reach the Most High, the divinity state. So we're in this process of self-realization of a God-like qualities, attributes. The next question talks about inequality of aptitudes. Aptitudes, to me, it's a very interesting word. It talks about what is it that I'm about, or each one of us are about. What is our aptitude? It's not like a vocation. It's not like a destination, but what is it, our tendency? What are we going? So one of the explanations is that all spirits have been created equal by God, but some have lived more, others less. Meaning, I may be 200 years old since my creation, but I know that Tanya must be 2,000 years old since her creation. And Mark not even count about that. Mark might be the oldest here. I don't know. But anyways, the idea is that so some of us, we have more time over here because in reality, based on our lives or experiences incarnated, we have consequently acquired more or less of our past, learned from our past existence. So that's one thing that is very interesting to learn. The next text is, why has God not given the same aptitudes to all men? So why are we not equal?
Because we haven't emphasized that part that we all are equal in karmic obligations or past lives obligations. So until we can emphasize that as well, we kind of look and say, oh, how come I got the short end of the stick? Or haha, I'm doing way better, so yeah, we're also equal in karmic obligations. I don't really like the word karmic, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I definitely understand, because And that's one of my interests or my aptitude is to get this message from all the other sources that come, not just from one, but because the message that's sent to us, it comes in pieces. It comes according to our state of our moment of education. So basically, same starting point, a moment of creation, not the same birthday and not the same birthplace. So we, each of us, may have been created in some corner of the universe at some moment, but we are not created at the same time because God continues to create non-stop. That's part of the divinity. So aptitudes consider its various degrees of experience and in training of the will. Keyword over here, the will. We were endowed with free will, the ability to choose where to go, which direction. And that's how we build our experiences. Our trajectory is determined not by somebody pointing out the direction, but by ourselves. As we continue to evolve, we keep making choices every day which direction to go. And that way we continue to grow, expand to the point where we're going to reach all, like Gandhi said, that man, that man is a creation at a center of circumference without limit, meaning that we can choose to go in any direction and expand as far as we go, as we want to. But because we have eternity, we are living forever. We will eventually compensate and find the homeostasis of balance all of our attributes, all of our aptitudes, because we're going to grow in all directions. Does it make sense to you?
May I add something? May I say something? Hi, everyone. Yeah, one thought that came through as an answer is also sometimes we choose challenges because we're on a mission. So it's not necessarily linked to so-called karma, right? And so I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Very good clarification. Thank you, Sunshine. Yes. So we are limitless. We have no limit. However, we're not going to be from the beginning and jump into perfection. It's a process. And we need to understand that it's going to take some time. That's why we're still in this stage where we have to come to planet Earth, because that's the most beneficial environment for our moment in evolution. So we continue to grow, and the experiences here in this planet is very important for us. Because of course we cannot see what's going on in another planet. Human beings or Earthlings, we belong here, so this is our place. There's no mistake on the divine planning. Okay, let's go
And
to question 8.
it's very interesting.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's very interesting when we said we spirit can be older or younger, but that doesn't matter because sometimes we are too old. We have 1,000 times years older than the 200-300 years older spirit. And but the most important here is those who are conscious, who are dedicated to their evolution, because the 2,000 years older spirit can be stuck thousands of times, come and repeat the same life, the same things, no? And other things we can be not very evolved in one planet, But if you're going to less evolved planet to help others, we will be the most evolved on that group of spirit, on that community, on that. It is our, can you see in the universe, we are useful for everything. More progress, more moral, more we work on our moral, in our evolution, will be useful in any place in this universe. Is not that beautiful?
Yeah. Well, we're going to see a little bit more ahead of the presentations that that's the reason why advanced spirits occasionally come down to our level to assist us or to serve as a model so we can follow. And somehow that example, and that's what we are here for, to do, each one of us. The more we improve ourselves, the more we learn, and the more we apply the principles of the gospel in our lives, we are giving the example and leading others that are looking at us and learning from our processes and taking that as basis for them to make their decisions where to go. So that's why Spiritism does not come to proselytize and change everybody, every religion to become a spiritist religion. We are here just to demonstrate and to learn and keep working on our personal evolution, personal progress. And that is the example that we are leaving behind, or let's say our legacy. So now here I ask for your kindness. I'm asking for having volunteer readers to read the following questions because every question is a pool of information. So
I have
I
opened
can
this.
start with that.
I already
Yeah,
opened. I can. Are you reading the question?
exactly. So the question 805. Yeah, go ahead, Tanya, please.
Yeah. Oh gosh, let's see. Those a spirit, né? In passing from a superior world to a less evolved one, does a spirit keep all the acquired faculties intact? So the spirit answer, yes. We have already told you that the spirit cannot go back in the progress accomplished. In his spirit state, he may choose a cruder envelope or a position which is more precarious than one he had before, but always to serve him as a lesson and to help him advance.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
And they have a good notes on this. I like this translation. Is they say, thus the diversity of aptitudes among individuals is not related to the intrinsic nature of their creation, but to the degree of perfection they have reached as a spirit throughout several incarnations. God has not, therefore, created an inequality of faculties, but has allowed spirits of different degrees of development to be intact with one another, in contact with one another, so that those who are more evolved can help in the progress of the less advanced. And also so that all men, realizing that they mutually need one another, may appreciate the law of charity that is to unite them, like you said.
Yeah, and that's interesting, fascinating because it applies to every experiences. We have lived in the past several the situation with everybody heard of the Epstein file. So moment for us. Are we learning from that experience? So this is something that we want to consider, because we see these things that are presented to us, and we make a judgment. Okay, what is there for me to learn about it, so I don't go in the same direction, or I choose a better direction to go. So everything is valid in a sense that, okay, it's up to me, it's up to each one of us to have that lenses of interpretation of what's happening and make a decision. We brought up the issue of the death penalty throughout the world. We are evolving as a planet, and less and less societies are developing the understanding that the death penalty is not a really good way to go. It served a purpose in the past, but no longer applies. So not everybody is at the same level of development to understand that and to adopt it. But that's how we learn. That's the understand why we have to live in society is to learn and to go through these experiences. So moving forward is not a long chapter, but it has some very interesting questions. And I don't want to follow like I want to follow the by order. If you have any question on the chapter that you feel like, okay, I want to know about this, please bring it up. Because now we talk about social inequalities. 806. Is the inequality of social conditions a law of nature? That's a very interesting point. It's not a law of nature. It is something that we, human beings, men, created. Because the Spirit's answer is no. It is the work of men, not of God. So the inequalities that we see in our society is not something that God intended to create. However, in his immense wisdom, he allowed us to have the free will to decide which direction to go. So the follow-up question is, will this inequality eventually disappear? The answer is so clever, because it talks about nothing is eternal but the law of God. Do you not need that? Do you not see that it is being affected little by little? That's the point. So nothing will stays the same, nothing is eternal. So everything is moving, but it's moving to improvement in a sense. So little by little, it's becoming less affected.
I like in the part, if you allowed me, when he said, a day will come when the children of the great family of God will no longer consider each other as being of blood more or less pure, because only the spirit is more or less pure, and that is not at all relate to social position. And we are living that, because remember, this was written in the end of 1800s, no? And so today, that time was all the who follows the blue blood, no?
Right, right.
And the society, so is a family of this or that. So today we are living this, what the Spirit wrote 150 years ago. It's
So
amazing.
in that sense, there is equality on the creation of every. So
And
everybody's equal. We have that one race is above the other, or one.
using the wisdom, the intelligence, no, the poor can be very rich And the rich, you can lose everything and so on, no?
Yeah, that's
Very
why,
interesting.
yeah,
Until we get an evolved planet or living here, the Mother Earth will be more evolved, advanced, and will be all considered one or another pure by our moral actions, no? Not by blood.
that's right. Okay, in sequence, we're talking about inequality of riches. So anyone to read one of those questions? We can pick and choose. Okay, 808.
I'll read. I'll read 808.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Aren't differences in income the result of people's differing talents, some of which society values more than others? Do you want me to read the answer?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And discuss it.
In some cases, yes. In others, no. You also have to consider that wealth can be ill-gotten. In other words, hereditary wealth may be tainted. It's always hard to tell without investigation, but it's less important to discuss the origin of inherited money, which may or may not have been based on somebody's wrongdoing, than to realize what it is that drives you to seek wealth. Oh, drives you to seek wealth. It's your intention and motivation that matters.
Wow. There we go, the wheel again. Is our intention and motivation that matters. Because the thing that, let's say, you inherit millions of dollars as part of your heritage. But what are you going to do with that? That's what matters. Because those that have inherit huge amounts of money and put everything to waste, they are responsible for their choice as well. So the idea is that the difference in terms of riches is relative to the point where I, who inherit this or not, I'm the one that will decide what to do with it. Because I can use that to apply for good, or just like a knife of two blades. Like I can cut either way, doing for good, doing for bad. But that to be my responsibility. That's going to be part of my experience and part of my history or educational process. How am I going to do that? As one of you just mentioned that we receive, we endowed with a lot of riches, benefits, and power and knowledge and all that. But what we do with it is really up to us.
One of the things I grapple with is the wording, at least in my edition, that God is judging us and what he's judging. It sounds like God is out there, which it is not, and the judgment part. But neither here nor there, I just wanted to mention it, that I don't know, just to raise awareness around the language, that it's not really representing the truth from my perspective.
Yeah, it makes sense totally. Because this, remember that we come from a long history of indoctrination in different cultures. And we have this brought with us that this, what is the word I'm looking for? Maybe Kiki, you know, that
Your microphone have been breaking, Brother Charles.
You're
So
breaking a
the-
bit. I don't know what you mean, brother.
we use a lot, but I forgot at this moment that we, yeah, I'm sorry, my technological equipment is far behind.
No.
But anyways, we have learned in previous lives some beliefs that stayed with us and follow us in the next life. So even there's a word for this, but that word is escaping my mind. That we bring it.
You're
Well,
gonna say
it's
Old
not
conditionings, like old conditionings? That,
close.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
do you wanna say important?
atavism, atavic thoughts. Does he ring a bell? Atavic thoughts. The word is atavismo. Atavic thoughts is like some ideas that we carry with us until, because we are in the process. Okay, I have to dismantle this principle that I'm carrying with me, or this concept, like that only the rich are the most important people in the world. So these teachings that follow us until now and dissipate with it. But there's so many that we bring from different experiences in life that we carry with us. Because again, once we incarnate, one of the best gifts that God gives us is that the ability to forget our past. So we start kind of like not 100% fresh. However, we have an opportunity to live our experiences in a better way. Well, atavic. I want to find the translation for that.
I looked it up and it says atavism, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, the reappearance of a primitive ancestral trait in an individual, often called a throwback, and they say more. So it's kind of like something that we carry from the past, as you already said. And it can be physical as well as
Yes.
emotionally mental. Yeah.
What I found is
Yeah.
this is a tendency to revert to something ancient or ancestral. So when we try to revert something that we are bringing from a long time, if I
Yes.
correctly.
Well, we got such a good students here. My goodness. Don't be afraid to raise your hand. But anyways, what about the next question? Any volunteer?
I can read. 809. If a fortune has been wrongly acquired to start with, are the heirs later responsible for this? Of course, they're not responsible for the wrong that others committed, especially if they're ignorant of it. But you should know that a fortune is often destined for certain individuals in order to provide them the opportunity to repair an injustice. Happy for them if they comprehend this. If they repair the injustice in the name of the one who committed it in the first place, the reparation will be taken into account for everyone concerned, because it is almost always the original wrongdoer who, from the spirit world, inspires them to do it.
Wow. It totally makes sense, right? Now we understand, okay, where we are equal, okay, because we have the same basic what Teresa said, the same kind of responsibilities that we are to respond to. 810, would like to read it?
Often people write wills that distribute their assets more or less equitably among their loved ones. After passing on, are these people held accountable for any possible consequences of their dispositions? Answer: every seed bears its fruit, but the fruit of the good seed is always sweeter. Remember this.
Wow. I mean, it's a
And the
second
other is
answer.
always bitter.
Exactly. I mean, it's amazing how the spirits using the sensitivity, they just give this poetic version of an answer, right? It's amazing. The seeds always bears its fruit. So if the quality of the seed that I'm planting is bitter, I cannot collect or harvest sweet fruit. It's amazing. So more and more, the concept of equality becomes clear to me as we go studying this chapter or this chapter to understand that that's how we are all in the same process. We are all evolving. We are all going through the same challenges, but based on my background and what I have accumulated in the past, if I receive an amount of richness, of a lot of money right now, I'm going to use my experience, my previous experience, to apply that richness. So that's why it is important, the process of inner reform, because this will ground us to keep evolving, however, grounded in truth, grounded in divine laws, grounded in the gospel that really will give us basis to make better choices for any circumstance. So 811 is an absolute equality of riches possible, and has it ever existed? Wow. Is it possible? Is the idea, for example, of communism, socialism that talks about equality of riches and all that, is it possible? The answer is clear. No, it is not possible. The diversity of faculties and characters is opposed to it. Again, our contribution will make sure that this is not possible. This is not happen. So there are men, nevertheless, who believe it to be the remedy for all the ills of society. So some people, a lot of people have that illusion. So what do you think of them? So the Kardec is asking the spirits, what do you think of these people that think that is possible? The answer is they are framers of systems or moved by ambition and jealousy. They do not understand that the equality they dream of would be speedily broken up by the force of things. Combat selfishness, for that is your social past, and do not run after chimeras. Wow, this is very profound. What do you think about that? They are framers of systems. Framers of systems. So they use the intelligence to put it together, ideas that will establish new rules. I don't know, one thing that comes to mind is what we're going through right now, that affect the whole world out of one head, one mind.
Rather, for me, what comes to me is, again, the importance of society. I know that we studied this a couple of weeks ago. And it just shows that, one, as we are reading here, the inequality is needed just because of this is a result of our own actions. So there is a need on that. And then the second thing, that need also creates the opportunity for all of us to be fraternal with each other. So I think that this is what it tells me. It's not the system responsibility it's not only the system responsibility to make sure that everybody shares, but it is our individual responsibility to think how we can support our brothers and sisters who are in need in many different levels, right? And here we are studying on the material aspect of that. So yeah, that's what comes. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Guys,
Yes.
actually works against God's will to enforce absolute equality.
You
So,
know, last night in my meditation and prayers, after meditating this came this symbol that always Emmanuel brings to us in the education of the two wings, now of the love and the wisdom. So last night after my meditation, and this beautiful voice came to my mind and my heart, and this beautiful picture, and said that humankind will be just be in a next level of evolution where they use the two wings of truth, because know the truth and the truth will set you free, and the love. Without knowing love, you would not accept the truth. That what came to me like this. So if you do not have love, humility, you accept the truth, no? So, and we know the wisdom to bring you the truth, but sometimes the wisdom take you apart, far away, because make you more prideful. No, if you don't have the love to balance it. But I after the meditation, I said, wow, that is very interesting, because when you are able to accept the truth, you are able to feel the love. And education and moral education, we are the Spirit say individually we are responsible for our own education and helping others in their evolution.
Teresa.
Yeah, so that was pretty much what I was going to say, what Tanya ended up with, because they told us in an earlier question, right? They said there's a continuum of faculties, and that's so the ones on the lesser end can help the ones on the greater end. And we're all going to vary in what faculty we're stronger in. And I'm not talking mediumship faculties, I'm just saying faculties as a whole. And so to me, this is Kardec. He's so wise. He then recycles the question in a different way. So he's almost, but they answer it. He can't trip them up because they do answer it. It's coherent with the previous question. So to me, it's like, and I know, I believe Kardec, he probably half already knew some of these answers, even when he asked them, but like, this is still us looking at ourselves material, looking at ourselves only as the physical body, because, and that when we see ourselves more as the spirit and soul, then we understand that we can't impose our own theories. Like we can't make our own, I have this theory of how it should work in the, I don't know. We just know that, right? Because we are not perfect. And so we see it from a different light, and then we can understand this answer better, and maybe even perhaps why Kardec asked the question. Thank you.
I wanted to take a quick minute to go to the consoler, and the same question was asked there. And Emmanuel gets back and says, I'm doing it really quickly because I know time. Sociologists commit a grave mistake when they assume that there can be absolute equality between people in any area of life. Political tyrants eventually try to impose something in this direction, but these measures are nothing more than theatrical attempts to eliminate differences, all just for show. But then he says the true value of human beings is measured by what is within their hearts, and Tanya just spoke to that, and their merits determined by their personal efforts. And here, and I'm going to stop after this sentence because to me this is the key. All individuals have identical rights before God, who grants equal opportunities to all its children in the invaluable treasures of time. And there it is. There is true equality, but not how we in the world try to present it or create it. Isn't it beautiful? And
Amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know,
Well,
Sunshine, in Brazil right now, they are making a movie from Emmanuel, and I cannot wait to see that.
I love him.
Yeah, me too.
Well, as you can see, we have other questions to go because I really want to get to the 817, equality of rights of men and women. That's a topic that we can benefit a lot from that. But anyways, let's continue with trials of riches and of poverty. So how come you are so rich in this life, but in another life you're not so rich? Can someone read the 814, please?
Can you read it? Why has God given wealth and power to some and poverty to others? To try them in different ways. What is more, as you know, it is the spirits themselves to select those trials which they often fail.
Wow. So we choose our trials. That's another thing. That is up to us.
And I want just one quickly things. You
Man,
know,
do not
I
anybody
always had think of saying because my curiosity asking questions to the spirit long before when Trump forced uh, run for presidency. So I asked because I saw him in my visions. I saw him being the reincarnation of Nero, the Italian Roman. And other day, Greg said, "Why? Why God gave him permission to come rich again and use this power again and to do what he's doing now?" So this is the answer.
Well, that's interesting, but the other day I was reminded uh, that, for example, our people that we revere so much, like Chico Xavier and Bezerra de Menezes, I mean, in previous lives, 7,000 years ago, they were destroyers of worlds. So now look at where they are after 7,000 years, at least that. So that might give this guy the opportunity to redeem himself in this life. But if he makes choice not to create a good prosperity, so he continues to coming back and reliving his experience. So his destiny, or whoever is destined to the same demise of not creating in this opportunity that was given to him another life of richness, the ability to correct himself. So we are learning from his mistakes, aren't we?
Exactly,
But
right? It's our opportunity to not go into judgment. So whatever choices others make, give us
Exactly.
opportunity to do our own healing. Because
And
we
Yeah.
this is
our own shadow side, right?
I'm sorry, Sunshine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we only judge our own shadow side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly that. So that is why I prove that the old spirit, no, cannot be better because it's an old spirit, no. It's stuck in the
Right.
time, no, and didn't use the opportunity. So not judging, but judging.
Yeah. Again, it's worth it to go back to this chapter and read it and meditate on it and uh, rethink of all these questions because it teaches us a lot. I mean, the whole work of Kardec, it's an amazing gift that we have this life to benefit from because that's our preparation for the next one. Because I don't think anybody here is a candidate not to come back, right? But anyways, let's keep moving. 8:15. Which of the two kinds of trials, poverty or riches, is the most to be dreaded by man? There comes equality again. I think it can go either way, right? That's another concept of equality. They are equally dangerous. Poverty excites murmurings against providence, and riches excites to all kinds of excesses. There's your answer. Okay. If the rich man has more temptations to evil, has he not also more ample means to doing good? Anybody want to answer the question?
So that is pricelessly. I'm sorry. What he does not always do, he becomes selfish, proud, and insensible. He needs increase with his fortune, and he never believes he has amassed enough for himself. A prominent position in this world and authority over fellow human beings are trials as great and slippery as poverty. For the wealthier and more powerful we are, the more obligations we have to fulfill, and the greater and the means are the means at our disposal to do good and evil. God tests the poor man through equanimity and the rich man through the use he makes of his wealth and power. Wealth and power awaken all the all the passions that bind us to matter and keep us from spiritual perfection. That is why Jesus said, "Verily I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven." Because more you have, more easier for you to abuse the power. No, because you have the power, you're more greedy, you're more evil, you're more egotistic, you're more selfish. And on the spiritual world, when you work on astral level, helping others spirits to be rescued, to be going to, we say quotation mark, go through the light, more that we encounter them, I will tell you, it is more people who is attaching to the moral, with the material life they had before. They are in that mansions that was like 1,000 years ago, and they still living there like not the time has not passed, and they still very greedy, and they obey you to bow to them. It is very, very sad when you look on their spirit who was very wealth on the earth, and how they keep going and stabilize, not move at all on the spiritual life.
And one thing we all forget, I don't want to speak for you, but often forget, is that all of this is a loan from God. It's not really ours anyway.
There you go. Yeah, very good point, Sunshine.
Charles, I'm sorry, brother. It's just because we are
All right,
ahead of
let's move
time.
on.
So I just wanted to understand
Yeah.
if you are heading towards to the end.
Yes, I am. Just, well, anybody want to touch on the next chapter, which is equality of rights of man and woman? Because we are close to the end.
I think we can jump directly to 822, no?
Okay, 822. All right, let's go.
You can read that if you want.
Okay, so yeah,
As all human beings are equal according to God's law, should they also be such according to human-made law? This is the cornerstone of justice. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you. And then the question continues. In order to be perfectly just, should legislation establish the equality of rights between men and women? Equality of rights, yes, but with respect to functions, it should be noted that while there are many similarities between the sexes, there are also distinct differences. Each sex should be encouraged to develop according to their special abilities and strengths. Human-made law, to be just, should establish equal rights for men and women. Any privilege granted to either sex conflicts with justice. Women's rights and freedom are in line with the progress of civilization, as her oppression is a condition of barbarism. In addition, gender only exists through the physical makeup. Since spirits can assume that of either sex, there is no difference between them in this respect, and they should enjoy the same rights.
What advanced answer for that time, no?
Right?
And what we are living today, it is amazing. I love it. I love it.
yeah, well, it pertains very plainly to all times now. Yeah, because I think the concept of the takeaway from these questions of equality of between men and women is that is the concept of cooperation. We are both here for development, for evolution. But if we are competing with each other, what are we doing? We hurt each other, not progress. But if we cooperate, we help each other and we evolve. That's the amazing of the equality between men and women. But we need to overcome these atavic ideas that one is above the other, or that one is more important than the other, and fighting with each other because of whatever happened in the past. But anyways, that's a beautiful chapter. So I encourage everybody to reread it and spend some time during the week to meditate on this chapter and be prepared for the next presentation. So basically, I would like to close our presentation for today because I think you got the point. The idea is that we are here to evolve. We are here to educate ourselves, to improve ourselves, and keep studying and reading. That's our mission. That's our goal. And I appreciate you all. And again, in the words of Kardec, unshakable faith is only that which can face reason in no human epochs. That's very important. Okay, everybody, thank you, and wish you the best. And I'm looking forward next week, and I know that it's going to be interesting topic. That's my humble contribution today. Thank you.
That was beautiful, brother. Thank you so much. It was really, really enlightening. I know that we all chimed in during the talk, but if anyone has any final comment, any final thoughts, please be brief. You're good?
If I may,
Yes, please.
especially with Connor's talking about the rich and the camel going through the eye of a needle and all that. I think our society, capitalistic society, produces a lot of pressure on people to be, if you will, greedy. We're a capitalistic society, and we are always talking about success in terms of capitalism, in terms of how much money a person makes. So it encourages that. Even someone who makes a lot of money and feel like they don't need all that money, they're encouraged to keep making money. It's just built on greed. You just need some checks and balances. I'm not trying to talk 100% against it, but I'm just saying it doesn't have any real checks or balances. It just gets worse, it seems to me, every year. That's all.
Thank you. Amazing, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. All right, so let's take 1 minute break, if that's okay, 2 minutes break, wherever we need, just to grab a water, do whatever stretch you need, and we'll be back for the hands-on healing passes.
Kiki, do you have the passes?
I do. Which one?
The passes, the Greg
The
voice.
Greg one?
Because the mentor said we can just go through the passes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do that.